So in a recent interview, the director of the Fantastic Beasts films and several of the Harry Potter films, David Yates, came out and revealed that the Fantastic Beasts franchise is currently on pause, or it's on hold, or they've put it to bed for now or something, which essentially means that Warner Brothers killed it. It's done. They're not discussing anymore. The way he phrased it in the interview was like, oh, we're just really happy and proud that we made the third one. We didn't realize we were going to make 5 when we did the first one, and now obviously we finished off the trilogy and we're happy with the film we made. We're all just going our own separate ways and doing different things. Yeah, that's code for, Warner Brothers killed the franchise. And considering for some weird reason Warner Brothers wants HBO to reboot the Harry Potter series as a television show a la Game of Thrones, I mean, I just think that decision is stupid and it's way too soon. Yes, you can argue that the first film came out like 20 plus years ago, but then also, I'd argue that Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out like 11, 12 years ago. But also, if you include the Fantastic Beasts films, the last installment came out in 2022. So trying to reboot the Wizarding World brand when the last installment literally came out last year, that's baffling to me. That's so weird. But the real question I want to pose and also speculate about is what killed the Fantastic Beasts franchise? Because in many ways, I was excited to see the rest of the films, but also the films aren't amazing either. I actually think The Secrets of Dumbledore was actually the best Fantastic Beasts film. Crimes of Grindelwald is a mess, but like it's an enjoyable mess. And the first Fantastic Beasts I like half of. I think half of it's really good, and the other half is really boring and really dull, and I kind of don't get why that one is regarded as the best one when half of it is really boring. So the first factor that plays into the killing of the Fantastic Beasts franchise is controversy. By the time The Secrets of Dumbledore finally released, the franchise was surrounded in controversy. J.K. Rowling's transphobic remarks, the franchise itself wasn't doing super well in terms of box office, there was the Johnny Depp recasting with Mads Mikkelsen, and then there was the Ezra Miller controversy and their whole long list of crimes. And I'm not gonna lie, I do think it is funny that the list of crimes Ezra Miller committed or supposedly committed is longer than the crimes Grindelwald committed in The Crimes of Grindelwald. So in many ways, I do think that the factor of controversy surrounding the franchise is a main factor in what contributed to the death of the Fantastic Beasts franchise. J.K. Rowling's transphobic, why can't I say it? Transphobic behavior turned a lot of fans against J.K. Rowling, turned them against the entire Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts Wizarding World franchise. Plus, you take into account the Johnny Depp fans and the Johnny Depp defenders and him being recast with Mads Mikkelsen, they turned against the franchise as well. But that being said, I don't think Ezra Miller's controversies were entirely to blame for the failure regarding the controversies, because most of the people that had turned against the franchise had already turned because of J.K. Rowling and the recasting of Johnny Depp to Mads Mikkelsen. Even though Mads Mikkelsen is technically the better Grindelwald, like, I like Johnny Depp in The Crimes of Grindelwald, but when you think about it, Mads Mikkelsen should have been Grindelwald from the very beginning. The next factor I'm going to bring up is David Yates' direction. Look, David Yates has made some great films. Deathly Hallows Part 2 is my favourite Harry Potter film. I think it's a fantastic, emotionally powerful film, but his Fantastic Beasts films they're not amazing. To me, it was very clear and very obvious that David Yates stopped having fun with the franchise. And you can tell when you look at Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first one, it's not really fun. It's not really exciting. There are moments in it that are really fun and really exciting and really whimsical, but overall it's quite stale and bland and boring. It's not to say that David Yates is a bad director, because he isn't. There are a lot of really cool visual elements in the Fantastic Beasts films. A lot of the dueling is really good. All the performances are great. David Yates is a good director on paper, but I just think overall when it comes to telling the story of the franchise, he didn't really care, and you can kind of tell. In special features and in interviews regarding the first Fantastic Beasts film, David Yates has gone on record stating how he manipulated J.K. Rowling's scripts and turned them darker, and I have no idea why he did that. Those films did not need to be as dark as they were. Why did a film about a quirky wizard running around the streets of New York City trying to recapture his magical beast turn into a story about child abuse in an orphanage? Why did the plot of the second film revolve around the prophecy of a dead baby? You can't argue that the third film isn't as morbid, though it does revolve around the fact that a zombie deer has to elect the new president of the Wizarding World. You know, that's a really big nitpick I have with The Secrets of Dumbledore. Why does the film not address the fact that the election going on is to do with the International Confederation of Warlocks? It's the most subtle blink and you miss it reference. It's about the election for the International Confederation of Warlocks, but the film doesn't address it. They just say the election's going on. What election? I think it just adds a lot of fuel to the fire for haters of the franchise, because they just go, huh, the film's about, you know, this deer trying to re-elect the wizarding president, but they all have different ministers. What the hell? Again, the film could easily explain that by just going, this election is for the International Confederation of Warlocks, which is essentially the wizarding UN. Anyways, the point I was trying to say is that David Yates was the wrong director for the franchise. You can't do the fun, whimsical, magical creature adventures and also do the historical allegory for wizarding Nazis. The tones are just too far apart. There has to be a gradual shift, but there isn't. The films just have these weird tonal whiplashes. The first Fantastic Beasts film has Newt and Jacob doing the whole thing with the rumpant, and then all of a sudden it cuts to Credence getting whipped by his mother. What the hell? The Fantastic Beasts franchise should have been its own separate thing. It should have been Newt Scamander being all fun and whimsical. Heck, they should have gotten Paul King to direct it. Why do the trailers for his Wonka prequel film feel more like Fantastic Beasts than the Fantastic Beasts films ever did? I mean, Willy Wonka in that film is even visiting a Hogwarts-like castle.
I got an idea.
Where do we start?
Making chocolate, of course.
I mean, I know it's a Heyday Films production and such, and Paul King worked on the Paddington films, but still, you can feel the Harry Potter isms in the Wonka trailer.
Kicked out of Hogwarts for endangering human life.
What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it? Dark, white, nutty, absolutely insane.
The next factor I want to raise is the fact that J.K. Rowling's screenplays and story ideas were all over the place. The first Fantastic Beasts film works as a standalone film, and its sequels feel very irrelevant. Whilst a lot of things happen on screen in The Crimes of Grindelwald, not a lot of the things that happen in the film actually affect the overall plot and story of the franchise. Really, the only thing of significance in that film is the fact that Dumbledore and Newt get the blood pact. That's kind of it. And whilst I do think that The Secrets of Dumbledore is the best film out of the three Fantastic Beasts films, when you think about it, half of that film doesn't really matter because Dumbledore's big grand plan in that film is that nothing really matters. It's just confusing for the sake of it being confusing so they can confuse Grindelwald. Not to mention the fact that throughout these three films, only a year and a half of time has actually passed from the first film to the third film. Like, that's so weird. This is supposed to be a 5-film franchise and it's supposed to span up to 1945. Why has only a year and a half passed between the first film and the third film? Huh? Apparently, in an early draft of The Secrets of Dumbledore, Grindelwald was actually supposed to win the election at the end of the film and he was supposed to become wizard evil dictator Hitler. And the reason why that didn't happen was because Warner Brothers mandated Steve Kloves and J.K. Rowling to give it a happier ending so they can wrap it up as a trilogy. And that kind of works because I do think the ending to Secrets of Dumbledore is really sweet. I love Jacob and Queenie's wedding and I love the Newt and Tina scene. It's great. And I do like the tease of Dumbledore being like, hey Newt, whenever I ask it, you know, we'll go and beat Grindelwald together. I like that stuff. And in many ways, I do hope that in the future, they make an additional Fantastic Beasts film and they do the Dumbledore Grindelwald stuff, but you bring in the Fantastic Beasts characters and you have them just be side characters. Don't actually have them, you know, contribute massively to the plot. Have the main character of the film be Dumbledore and have the main villain of the film be Grindelwald. Don't call it Fantastic Beasts 4, just purely make it a film about Dumbledore and Grindelwald that just happens to feature the Fantastic Beasts crew. Like, yeah, Secrets of Dumbledore technically does wrap up the franchise as a trilogy, but even still, I want to see the Dumbledore Grindelwald stuff. Jude Law is the perfect Dumbledore and Mads Mikkelsen is great as Grindelwald. I want to see their conflict on screen. I love their battle in Secrets of Dumbledore. The moment where Grindelwald shouts, "Who will love you now, Dumbledore?" That hit. That was powerful. That was really good. I want to see this stuff on screen. I want to see this happen. I want to see this conflict. I want to see it more than a supposed Harry Potter reboot. Like, why are we rebooting it? Just make spin-offs. Just do Quidditch Throughout the Ages. Just do the Founders of Hogwarts miniseries. Just do the Marauders miniseries. Why are we rebooting Harry Potter, the main story? Why? Like, it would be different if the Harry Potter films weren't as beloved or they were as bad as, say, I don't know, the Percy Jackson films or something. But the Harry Potter films are good. Granted, they're not the books. They miss the details of the books, but still, as films, they're really fun, they're really enjoyable, they're really iconic. Why are we rebooting it? But to wrap things up, the Fantastic Beasts franchise to me was a franchise that was in conflict with itself. Half of the time it wanted to be, oh, look at the fun, magical, whimsical creatures and the quirky Newt Scamander. And then the other half was, oh, look at how dark and gritty and serious this is. Look at evil wizarding Hitler. Look at Proto-Voldemort. It's a bit weird. The tonal whiplash was just insane. You have to do one or the other. Do your big, quirky, zany, fun film with Newt Scamander and magical creatures. And if you want to bring these characters back into the big Dumbledore Grindelwald conflict film, do that. Just don't make them the main characters. One of the main problems of The Crimes of Grindelwald is the fact that Newt Scamander is technically the main character of that film. But why? At least in The Secrets of Dumbledore, Dumbledore is technically the main character of that film, so it's better than Crimes of Grindelwald, but even still, why was Newt the focus of this franchise? But those are just my thoughts on what killed the Fantastic Beasts franchise. What do you guys think? Are you guys sad that the franchise is on hold? Let's be serious, it's cancelled. Would you want to see a Fantastic Beasts 4 that wraps up the Dumbledore-Grindelwald conflict? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, follow me on social media, all that good stuff. It's all down in the description. Until we meet again, see you guys next time.